Hey, Internet. It's me, T, from the Pattersons, taking the train to the vet, talking to you through Instagram or communicating with you through Instagram. And once again, I done did it again. I still have my clove in my mouth. I don't know how this happens, but I'm going to attempt to communicate with you, even with my clove, which I put in, well, what time did I wear? I wake, see, I don't wake up in the middle of the night. Well, I wake up in the middle of the night. Let me put it this way. I get my 4 hours REM sleep, right? So that means, so I went to bed about 9, before 9 last night, right? But we're in southern India, so don't get mixed up, right? We're southern India, right? So southern India time, I went to bed at 9 o'clock. So it's 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1. That's the REM sleep, right? And every time after my REM sleep, I always wake up. So about 1:30, actually, I woke up. And then when I woke up about 1:30, I took my clove, I take a piece of clove and I put it under my tongue. When I wake up like that, right? Now, the theory, it softens it up. And then what I'm supposed to do when I wake up, before sunrise, which we're in blue light. Oh, shout out to Blue Light Brigade. We're in blue light right now. Anyway, the theory is that the thing is something, right? And then I'm supposed to chew it, right, before I talk to you. Unfortunately for me, call it, I don't know what you want to call it, but I keep on forgetting. So now I have to adjust. Now here's how I adjust. I can chew this in front of you and waste time. I can waste my time trying to explain this to you. Or I can attempt to continue to talk with the clove under my tongue. Now this is interesting because this means I can practice my articulation through adversity. Like that one. That's right. What I'm saying that I'm putting a challenge in front of me so that I can articulate even better because I'm still getting over the Bell's palsy, which jacked up my whole face and everything like that, and made this all that. See, so this has still got a little bit of Bell's palsy here. See, so now if I keep on working like this, then what will happen is finally when this goes away and I'm talking with something under my tongue, namely a clove that's soft and should be chewed, then I will be able to, when that's all over with, when the Bell's palsy is over with, and by that time maybe I'll remember, to chew the clove before I talk to you. Okay, enough of that. So this is a Grand Rising report, by the way, since it is before sunrise, and it's in blue light. I guess blue light is about to end sooner or later. I don't know. I think it ends right about, well, anyway, blue light's ending. Then we in this, like blue light begins like at dawn, and it goes for about 20 minutes. And then for another 10 minutes is before sunrise. So that 10 minutes before sunrise is what I'm talking to you in right now, like that. But anyway, oh, wait a second. Every once in a while, you'll see me do something like this. What I'm doing is I have my incense here, and I'm knocking the ash off before it goes beyond the hole that I have and goes onto the towel that I have down here on my writing table. So I have to put a towel on my writing table because I use my elbows for talking about. I finished this week's consava. I finished it. See, I do it on parchment first, right? And then I check it through my device, on the notes thing. When I check it, I check it for spelling. I started road poetry trying to learn how to spell, but I can spell pretty good now. But now what's happened? Oh, this is interesting. I'm an evolutionary. It's like I learn something new every moment most of the moments throughout the day. Well, I've been doing this for a while. Now what I do, because consava is like a 49-word poem, right? No, it's not like it is. It's a 49-word poem, but it has 7 lines, and there's 7 words to a line, and each word is under 7 letters, right? Well, 7 letters are under, except for proper nouns. Now, what I do, I usually do it, but now when I check it, since I started checking it in the device, this is all has evolved since actually last year. In fact, I only do it on the regular when I'm here, when I'm doing healing in order every week, like that. And then after that, I just do it whenever something happens, an occasion, or something like that. Anyway, so what it's evolved to now, when I check on the phone, I'm just spell checking and do like that. Then since it's a consava and it's a word thing, and remember, though it's a poem, it's a poetry form, that was the progenitor of this poetry form is Eugene B. Redmond over there out of East St. Louis, Illinois. he's from the he's from the Black Arts Movement. You know, like I'm from the Black Arts Movement, but he's a little bit older than I am. But anyway, the point is he invented this Eugene B. Redmond's Writers Club, and I've been there a couple of times. You know, a lot of poet laureates of the USA has been through that. Well, black women poet laureates, I don't know. Anyway, but that's not the point. So, but see, see, the problem is this. I don't really, yes, I'm a poet, but I don't really consider myself a poet. I consider myself a wordsmith. So now, with all this that's happening right now, I'm going right back to being a wordsmith, because when I go through the thing, like there'll be I should explain this some other time. No. There'll be a word, like for instance, this thing starts out, the first line, I'll do the first two lines. The first two lines starts out when I first, so I see all the cross house and stuff like that. So the first two lines started out, see, the problem is I can't read my own writing, so I'm going to put on my reading glasses on, right? Well, first two, that's pretty good. Starts out, finding friends of old is sacred bold. Finding friends of old, like O-L-E, the old English spelling, and that's another thing. See, I try to throw classic English in there. I'm an English speaker, English writer, so sometimes I throw a classic, and O-L-E is an old classic British English kind of thing, right? Sacred bold, right? The next line, now, it originally read, knowing those sacred souls respite with you. Okay, now hold on. Now I'm looking at them and saying, no, I use sacred there, and though it fits there, I don't want to use sacred. So now here's where I cheat, not cheat, but here's where it becomes a wordsmith. And we got the modern technologies. Why shouldn't I use it? So I go, actually I would do this anyway if I had a regular dictionary. I do have a regular dictionary. I have a big old dictionary that I absconded, that I borrowed. That's a good word. That I borrowed from Sikalele. Oh, anyway, don't worry about it. I was house sitting for me. He had a whole bunch of books today. I had a good time then, boy. I could read back in my glory days. So I look in the thing and I said, well, what's another word for sacred that's under 7 letters? And it goes, I got the word revered, R-E-V-E-R-E-D. So I took that second sacred out, which is like, because I don't like, actually, as a playwright, I don't like, as a writer, I don't like to put a word that's, especially I won't say a trigger word, but an obvious word, a word, I don't like to use it a bunch of times, you know, like, you know, so somebody might say, obviously. Well, obviously, this is not happening, obviously. You know, I don't like that, right? So now I got the word revered. Revered souls, respite with you. So I took one sacred, the second sacred, and I changed it to revered. Anyway, so that's what I'd be doing to start the poem. So now that phase is finished. Let's finish it last night. I started on Sunday, then there was Monday, Tuesday, just Tuesdays last night. This is Wednesday. Oh, this is World Day. So like Wednesday morning, so it was like 3 days. 3 days to get this first draft of the poem. Oh, this is going to be World Day. So later on, when I do my commentary at night, we'll deal with world issues. But right now, this is a Grand Rising report. My Grand Rising report, I'm supposed to tell you what's been happening in my existence in my life. See, I used 2 words, life, existence. See, I okay, don't worry about the word. So because of that, I'm supposed to report to what's happening the last 24 to 48 hours. Then I've expanded to projecting what happens in the future sometimes. Even though I'm actually a nowist. I don't really exist in the future. And I don't want to say I ignore, but the past is the past. You know, you can't do nothing about that. The future is like dreaming, well, visioning. Well, so I'm a nowist, so I deal in the now. That's not. Let me get to the point. Well, back to the point. So I've just reported to you one thing, right? Now I had my treatment. So I have 2 treatments that I'm doing right now. Not just my Ayurvedic massage, you know, with the oils and that deals with the whole this whole injury. Well, it started as an injury a long time ago, but before then, all down my sacral, come free, all down my sacral, right down to my toes. the nerves and the muscles and the ligaments and what's that the other thing that binds everything together, they're all screwed up. So that's starting to loosen up. So now I use the music thing because they have this music, the gongs and the person. Actually, it's a little bit of like let's call it a contact Reiki. They don't call it that. What I was like Reiki. See, with Reiki, you deal with your hands, the energy of your hands or whatever goes to the energy of somebody else, of the person, of your patient, your client, and then you manipulate the energy so that they get back into tune. So now when you do with this musical therapy, what they do is they'll put you're laying on the sheet. Well, you're laying on the bed with a sheet, and then they'll put the hands up between the sheet and not really touching you, under you, and then basically they'll use that kind of Reiki stuff to sunrise. Oh, just a second. Not just a second. It's only going to take it. Now we've just entered the sunrise, so we have to do our morning breath. So praising the sunrise. Here's how we do it. We breathe through our nose. We breathe a deep breath, then we follow by another short one. Keep that first deep breath in, and then we let it out through the mouth like this. We face the east. Welcome to a new day. There we go. See, that's what we do. That's how we roll. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And when you do that first deep breath, make sure you use your entire rib cage. Sort of pull yourself up. Like that. So say. You can let it all out all the way to your dancing and all get into that stuff. Anyway, so okay, back to that point. So that's so. See, they don't say this, but I know this because I know all kinds. During the '80s, I went through all kinds of modalities. I can't explain to all the stuff that was in my whatever. You know what I mean? I taught everything from isolation tanks to Reiki to everything. Qigong. I didn't do Qigong until I got to Cape Town. All types stuff. So what they're actually doing is they're doing what I call contact Reiki. They're not calling it that. And they're using the musical instruments like that. And then that manipulates that, what do you call that? The fascia, the fuchsia. Okay, you got the skin, forget the skin. You got under the skin, you got the muscle, and then you have the ligaments, right? Then of course you have the veins and the nerves, all that wrapped in there. But somewhere wrapped around all that stuff, at least wrapped around the nerves, it's like like a cheesecloth, like a layer. What am I trying to think of? Like, so I can maybe in closer, like they said, that'll confuse you too. It's like this. It's just like a layer that you can't. It's like a cheese. Like I said, a cheese, a membrane. A membrane that wraps around all that stuff. So what they're trying to do with this music stuff is take that membrane and loosen that membrane up. You see? Now the Ayurvedic people, they're working on the muscle and the ligaments. A little bit of the nerves, right? With herbs and stuff, leaves that come from Sri Lanka, and the oils that come from wherever the oils come from, and they're pure massage like that, right? Then, and of course you got the another thing I learned today is what do you call it? Reflexology. That works. Reflexology works the best on me, right? Acupuncture, no, not for me. You have to find out what works for you the best. Anyway, so that's what they're working on, and that's what they're working. And I just started that like 2 weeks ago. So that's sort of buttressing. Buttressing, not a good word. It complements. See, I'm into my mode right now, right? You're trying to find the right word for the right thing, words for the thing. Anyway, so with that, then I'm healing better. I'm walking better. I'm walking whatever because my core. That's the other thing. Oh boy, my core. I've lost because you get older and you start losing your muscle mass, right? So I start losing my muscle mass, my core. So now I'm walking a little bit straighter, and I've got to do my somatics exercise, get more into that, and then when I get to the States, I'm going to do a little bit of weight thing, but the weight's not important to me. As you know, it's got to have some flexibility, some tiny weight kind of thing like that. Now, I just read something. Then when I wake up early in the morning, right, I usually go back to sleep, but sometimes I futz around on the internet. I know you shouldn't do that anyway. But I get this guy on this, what are we doing right, Instagram feed. And he's always good citing these reports, and I like him because, it seems so authentic. And his one report says you should, especially if you're older, you should have 20 grams of protein a half hour before you go to bed, because then that protein somehow works on the muscles, whatever have, which is exactly what I need. Now, this is interesting. Strangely enough, a couple of days ago, I'm close to what's called a highway, whatever highway it's called, then you got the beach over there. But there's a shawarma shop, an Arabic shop. See, because we're in India, so you have a lot of Indian shops, they have the same kind of food. And they do the shawarma, shawarma, right? And I got one from yesterday, but I took it out, and they gave it to me in a tub, and then they have the bread on the side. You're supposed to put it together. Well, what I can do, see, you can't get any lamb here, so the only protein they have is chicken. But if they have lamb, they say lamb on the menu, but the problem is when they say lamb here in southern India, they don't actually mean, well, they don't say mutton. They don't actually mean mutton or lamb, but I don't know if these guys, because they're Arabic, they might be right. They mean baby goat. I'm really not into goat like that, I'm not into meat. But anyway, there's another shop, shop that there's a lot of carol cooking that I had the other day. Oh man, they had this banana fritter and beef. The beef was really tender. Again, I don't really eat meat like that, but every once in a while I need to. Now I can say, what I'll do is I take like a half hour before I go to sleep. As I say sleep, I don't know what that means. Well, I do know what that means. Then I use that. But here's another thing I got yesterday. I go to a place called Farm Fresh. It's horrible. They got a lot of fresh stuff. Yogurt. Anyway, the point is, they have the commercial hummus and whatever it is, but then then people make place makes their own hummus in these tubs, right? I'll show it to you later. And they had a beetroot hummus, a pumpkin hummus, then these other hummuses that says cheese in there. I don't want to do the cheese thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll change. But they got a beetroot hummus first time I saw that. And I knew they had the pumpkin hummus before. They had those 3 hummuses. So if I go to the shop, right, and at night before I go to bed, I'll take at least half of that thing, and I'll cook it up just a little bit, heat up a little bit, and then I'll I have it with the hummus and the thing and that. And I have a plan. I have a plan. And you should have a plan too. So plan your own revival. Oh, by the way, you don't see my new set. You see I got I'm an American, so that's my American passport. When I say I'm an American African, made in the South Bronx, New York City, which that means is that I have an American passport. I travel as an American. But I have an African mentality. That makes me an American African. But then my symbol, which comes from West Africa, is, here we go, look, is the wisdom knot. I used to have to put it on the back of my chair, but now I hung it up where my sitting hammock is. That's going to be gifted to my sister's house in Virginia when I get there next month. So there you go, a new thing. I just revealed a new thing to you. So there you go. Now with this newness, you make your own newness, and forge on. Check y'all later.